Scorpio, your turn for the 5 W's reading. The who, the what, the where, the why, and the when of the situation. Right up your alley about finding out all of these facets and all of the information related to something that interests you and that you're curious about. So to do so, I have the court cards out of the Santa Muerte deck to explore the who. Moonology deck here is complete. We're looking at the what. Some cards out of the Enchanted Map Oracle deck for the where. The Major Arcana, out of the Ghost Spirits deck for the why. And playing cards Ace through 10 to get a number to establish a time frame. So let's do some digging. Let's do some forensics on this situation. I'm not sure it's really appropriate to say forensics, but you know what I mean. Let's do some digging. Inspecting, investigating, that's the right word. So let's pull a card here on the who. And we have the Page of Swords. Let's look at what is the Page of Swords doing. It could be you, it could be someone else. That's really going to be up to you. So far, I must admit, pretty much all the signs, the who was kind of referring back to you. Or it seemed to. Too many cards. There's like 5 here. I only want 1. Yet, I mean, it's impossible for me to determine who this would pertain to. So it's up to you. Meditate and contemplate. New moon in Pisces for the what? That's what this Page of Swords is doing. And where is he meditating and contemplating? And what is he contemplating? Or, I mean, where is he? But I'm questioning the what. The Moonlight, it's interesting. I've drawn this card for, I believe, Aries for sure, and Leo. Quite interesting. Let's look at why this is happening. One card jumped out. The World. And let's pull a number. We have a 3. It is the 3 of clubs, so the 3 of pentacles, but I'm not interpreting the card per se. But if you want to know, that's what it is. So let's look at this Page of Swords together. I drew this page for another sign, but I totally forget which sign. What really drew my attention was the ink with the quill, right? With the, is that how you call it? The quill, the feather to write. And so typical meaning messages, right? Quick messages, lots of information coming in. Definitely in line with this, what we were describing about investigating a situation. I think there's deep research here about a subject. And there's not just research, there's actually the idea of gathering the information and synthesizing it, and to synthesize, you're writing it. So you're condensing information to be able to eventually communicate it. So getting all this information from all these different places, creating the synthesis, you know, working at condensing the results of your research, compiling as well. So compiling information, aggregating, structuring it, that's quite important. It's funny because, you know, the page has a lot of swiftness usually attached to the energy. But in this case, I do think it takes a little bit of time to do this particular process of synthesizing something. I mean, it's not something, it's this particular information, something, whoever's digging, whoever's investigating, whoever's compiling, there's a lot of work behind it. There's also, obviously, there's a signature. You might be signing something off. You're committing to something with your signature, you're committing, and it's ink, and that's the idea I had that I brought forth when I did look at the card for another sign, was that because it's ink, it's something that will stand, you know, the test of time, that is has some perennity. So that's pretty important. And you know, like, this character has this beautiful high hat, and it makes him look or seem official, kind of, you know, like so again, the idea of legality, maybe dealing with a lawyer, a notary. Is that how you say notary? No, notary. I can't say it. Sorry. You know, the person who like literally the person who puts in writing any form of legal agreements. That's really cool. It's definitely something important. And the what of a situation is meditate and contemplate, which is very kind of remote from what this person is doing. But at the same time, I was explaining how, you know, it takes time alone, and it takes time, just plain and simple, it just hours and hours of, you know, when you meditate and you contemplate, typically you do it alone in silence, and you might not do it for a very long time, but there's the idea of sitting still, right? So this person has to, this page typically is in movement all the time. He's the Page of Swords. He's a very swift, he's very busy all the time. He's moving from one appointment to another, kind of thing. And yet he has to stand still and do his research and compile and synthesize. That's pretty interesting. And look at this, he's doing it at night with the moonlight. And again, you know, you have I get the idea that being at night, you're alone, you know, it's not the typical business hours. It's really it's quite interesting. I wonder what you're working on, really. I mean, I did mention like something legal, but if it's happening at night, you might be a poet. You might be writing songs. You might be writing in your journal. You might be writing a letter to somebody, a book, music. Again, the idea of time here with the hourglass. So taking the time to do so. I get this beautiful energy here of I mean, I'm looking at the tails here, the translucent tails of the fishes here with the wings of this particular fairy here. And for me, there's a correspondence. It makes me think of the wings of dragonflies. Especially with this card, right? Dragonflies are typically associated with transformation. Quite a steep transformation, usually a major shift. I want to say that what you're creating here, or whoever this person is for you that you might know or will meet, we don't know. You know, time frame, 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. I wouldn't go as far as 3 years, just for the sake of the reading per se. I find it too far. It could be, who knows? But I want to start looking at the world. There's something evasive here. I'm going to come back to it. I'm still feeling it out. So the world card here. This skeleton has its hand outstretched, and he's acclaiming, you know, he's not acclaiming, but he's sort of I don't know, he looks like he's surrendering to a certain extent. You know, he's welcoming with his arm outstretched. He's welcoming something. He's looking up. And then there's the swarm of birds here. I think the outstretched arms is being able to, even if you're not touching obviously the whole world, but the gesture of it means that you're opening yourself up to the world. And in your mind, in your imagination here, with the moonlight and your ability to meditate and contemplate, I'm tempted to say that you would be able to reach, you know, to feel like you're touching the outstretched, like, no, that by being outstretched and opened, you can almost touch every part of the world, right? In every direction. It's symbolical, but I mean, you could picture yourself in your mind doing that. And I wonder if the act of writing here, or whatever kind of, I feel it's artistic, whatever is being created here, especially with, you know, the idea of creation with the moon. Pisces as well is very, I mean, because it's a new one in Pisces. Pisceans are, first of all, Pisceans are universal in their energy. So the world is very fitting. I mean, it's the whole universe. It's the world in its entirety. And they're very, very sensitive. And so is the moon, right? So they become very in tuned. And also, they're extremely, by being sensitive, first of all, they feel out trends, and they're quite artistic, especially when it comes to music. But also, it could be media, the movies, you know, it could be a screenplay here. I mean, it could be anything that this person is creating, but it's definitely artistic in nature. And for some reason, it encompasses the world. It encompasses, it wants to reach the masses. It wants to reach everyone. You know, it's the public with the moon. The moon is typically in astrology points to how you relate with the public. Not just that, but that's one aspect of the moon. It's really interesting. This solitary work that you do, you know, that is almost like a meditation and a form of contemplation, is extremely creative and is meant to reach the masses and to reach a large public and to eventually become known. You know, like your work, you want to show your work to the world. It's quite powerful. I mean, it is done for now, it's kind of hidden, but it's really meant for, it's really meant to be illuminated by the moonlight and presented to a really vast public. And I'm tempted to say through media because of the Piscean vibe here. So 3, I don't know how that would resonate for you, but you can keep that in mind, in the back of your mind, and maybe it has a special meaning for you. So there you go, Scorpio. Happy creation. Can't wait to see what you do. Take care.